Have you ever been lied to by someone you completely trusted? Not a stranger, someone close. And when the truth finally came out, you went back through every conversation, every answer, every moment they looked you in the eye and you couldn't find it. Not one clear sign. That's not a failure of attention. That's your brain working exactly as designed. And that's what makes it so dangerous. Most people are confident they can tell when someone's lying. They'll tell you they can feel it. Something in the gut, something off about the eyes. The science is less flattering. Study after study across decades and across cultures finds the same result. When humans try to detect deception, they perform barely above chance. Not impressively above chance. Barely. Around 54% accuracy. Which means if you flipped a coin every time someone spoke to you, you'd be almost as reliable as your instincts. That number should bother you. And here's what makes it worse is in one widely cited experiment, researchers tested trained police officers, judges, customs officials, and ordinary civilians. All were asked to identify who was lying and who was telling the truth. The result? Almost none of the professional groups performed dramatically better than anyone else. People who spent their careers reading suspects, who interviewed hundreds of witnesses, who believed they had developed a reliable instinct, barely above a coin flip. So why are we so bad at this? The answer goes back much further than you'd expect. For most of human history, the default assumption between people wasn't suspicion, it was trust. Because suspicion is expensive. If your brain interrogated every sentence, every gesture, every expression all day, every day, you'd burn through enormous mental resources just having a basic conversation. Evolution didn't reward that. It rewarded speed. So the brain developed a shortcut. Assume honesty first. Flag deception only when something clearly breaks the pattern. Psychologists call this the truth default. It's not naivety. It's efficiency. Picture this. You walk into a supermarket, every cashier, every customer, every employee, you assume they're all lying. You question every price, every receipt, every answer. You'd never leave the store. Civilization only works because your brain assumes honesty before evidence. It's the invisible agreement holding everything together, but that same agreement is exactly what a skilled liar exploits. Because liars don't need to construct an elaborate deception. They just need your brain to stay in its default mode. And the easiest way to do that is confidence. Your brain reads confidence as competence, as credibility, as truth. Researchers have shown repeatedly that confident speakers are rated as more intelligent, more honest, and more knowledgeable even when they're factually wrong. Not slightly more credible. Significantly more. That's why some of the most successful con artists in history weren't nervous. They were calm, magnetic, unhurried. They didn't convince people with evidence, they convinced people with certainty. And your brain interpreted that certainty as a signal. It wasn't. Now here's the part most people don't want to hear. The biggest lies aren't the ones strangers tell you. They're the ones told by people you already trust. Psychologists have found something that reframes everything. The strongest predictor of whether you'll believe a lie isn't how convincing the liar is. It's how much you trusted them before they opened their mouth. Once your brain has classified someone as safe, it stops verifying what they say. It fills in the gaps automatically. It extends the benefit of the doubt without even asking. And skilled liars know this intuitively. Which is why the biggest frauds, financial, personal, and institutional, almost never begin with a large lie. They begin with dozens of small truths. Enough small truths to make your brain decide that checking is no longer necessary. Only then does the real deception begin. By the time the lie arrives, your brain has already turned off the alarm. Now here's where most people start looking for the wrong solution. They decide to start watching for signals. The averted gaze, the nervous fidget, the touch of the nose. These are the cues everyone believes in. Movies use them. TV dramas repeat them. They've been around so long they feel like science. They're not. Large-scale research has failed repeatedly to find a single body language cue that reliably indicates deception across people. Some liars hold eye contact harder than truth-tellers. Some honest people can't look anyone in the eye under pressure. Some people fidget when they're nervous about being believed, not because they're lying. Stress and deception produce overlapping signals, and your brain cannot reliably tell them apart. There's a cruel irony buried here. The people most confident in their ability to spot liars are usually the least accurate, because confidence in lie detection leads to one specific mistake. You stop looking for evidence. You start looking for feelings. And feelings are exactly what a practiced liar knows how to manufacture. But here's what nobody tells you at the end of all this. Most lies aren't discovered in the moment. They're discovered later. Not because someone caught a suspicious glance, not because they spotted a micro-expression, but because the story eventually contradicted itself. A date that didn't match. A detail that shifted. A version that no longer aligned with another version. The truth didn't come from reading the liar. It came from the lie collapsing under its own weight. Which means something counterintuitive is true. You are probably a better lie detector than you think, just not in real time. Real deception detection is slower. It's pattern recognition across time. It's noticing when a story shifts, when details quietly change. When the version you heard last month no longer matches the one you're hearing today. Now think about the biggest lie you've ever believed. Chances are, you didn't believe it because the liar was brilliant. You believed it because your brain did exactly what evolution designed it to do. It trusted first, verified later, and maybe that's the strangest part of all. The same ability that allowed humans to build families, villages, civilizations, is the exact same ability that still makes us vulnerable today. Your greatest strength is also your greatest weakness.